Hey guys, welcome to Joe's RC Corner, and it's the next day here, and we're going to go ahead and start working on the Cricket. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be touching today, and what kind of progress we're going to try to make here. So if you remember on the last video, I mentioned that I'm going to start working on the wingtip, and I got to finish up the pilot side wing, get that all done, and get all the wiring connected, and also the wiring for the landing lights also connected. So I can get that all down to that end. Well, actually the wiring is already down to that end. I just need to get it on this end. So stay tuned guys, and I'll show you what we're going to get done. All right guys, so like I said, we're going to get started here on the pilot side wing. So we do have all of our wiring fished through, so I just need to go ahead and get this all connected. We have the nav light and the strobe light positives here. Grounding is going to go to the airframe, and that's a single point of grounding on the airframe. So all of the grounds go back to the engine because the engine is grounded to the airframe and everything else is grounded to that. So that should be fine. We're also going to work on getting the pitot heat plug wired up. And of course the landing lights on both sides. That wing is mostly all wired except for this landing light, so we need to get that one done. Let's see, what else? This has already been wired. I just have to put the nuts on the back side of the landing light. And we'll also get the wingtip trimmed and mounted on that left side. So that's the plan for today, guys. I may set up a time lapse, may not. We'll see how it goes. Okay guys, so some progress on the left wingtip here. So we've gotten the front section on there. I'm happy with the fit. Fits really nice. And we also went ahead and drilled the holes out for the light. And we now have that light temporarily installed. Now this end right here, I do need to trim back a little bit more. And then we're gonna get the trailing edge of the wingtip fitted and then drilled. And then get those two parts as one. And there is a support beam right in here, and I'm wondering, I might actually go ahead and drill this out too and add a few more supporting rivets along here. And I might do it on the other side as well. So if you come around over here to the other wingtip here, that support area right there is probably a good spot to put some more rivets just to hold everything in place, because this isn't really enough to do what I need it to do. So we'll work on the other side now first, and then maybe we'll find where that center is and then drill some holes and get that clecoed in right there as well. So other than that guys, that's a big step forward. So, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get those lights, this light wired up and connected. And then we'll start working on the wiring, on making the connectors on the lights here, the pitot tube, and then that light over there. And then the wing wiring for the most part is done except for the fuel senders. So that's the status right now. Looking pretty darn good. I'm really happy with that. Okay guys, so welcome back. So we finished the left wingtip here. It's all set and ready to go. I do need to do the rivets right along this line right here, and I am still debating whether or not I want to try to measure out and put some rivets right along here to attach this to that. I may not do that because my plan for this wingtip is to have this go away. I want to do an aluminum wingtip at some point, which means I'm going to have to put some L angle along on the inside here, angle it to where it's the right distance between the two. So what we'll do is we're going to put some L angle in there after the plane's flying and done. I'm not going to worry about it yet, but we're going to put some L angle and then nut plates back there, and we'll hold on an aluminum wingtip here with those screws, so that way this whole panel can come off and I can get clear inside without having to drill those out later on down the road. One of the other things that I'd like to be able to do down the road, maybe even before that, I don't know, is we're going to put a fence on this, on my elevator, in my vertical stab, or horizontal stab. I want to put a fence on here. So it'll follow this end down here, in this angle here, but it's going to be a little higher on this end. Probably only about that much, maybe about 2 inches or so. And that'll be just enough to keep airflow over the elevator during low speeds, which will probably work out really nicely. So, and that's going to be on both sides, because I'm not a big fan of these plastic tips. And as you can see on the other side here, we have the same scenario. This wingtip is also done. So that looks good. So now both wingtips are done. So I'm going to take a break, eat some lunch, and then we're going to go ahead and start doing the plugs on the wires. After I do that last bit there on this tip here, like I said, just have to measure in the 10 millimeters from this edge here, move in 10 millimeters, and then we'll drill out these holes and start riveting that in place as well. So that way not rivet them, but just Cleco them together. I riveted the other ones. Probably should have waited, but it's all right. It still fits. But before we paint, we're definitely going to have those riveted together, so that way they get painted together. I might take some primer though and just do that inside edge where those two meet and get some primer in there, because I won't be able to paint that later. So, but there you go, guys. Wingtip done. All right, guys, so we're here at the end of the video, finishing cleaning up here. But we have the left wing is completely wired except for fuel sender. Need to get that done. But the rest of the wing is now wired. The wingtip is on. It's only been Clecoed in place right now, but I did prime it. I've tested the lights. You'll see in the picture here that the strobes work, the nav lights work, the landing light now works, and pitot heat also works. Now I still need to do the wiring down and into the switches to make sure that all is working, but that shouldn't be too much longer. And that requires taking the panel off, or the windscreen, and the pulling that panel up. Then I can finish that wire in, go into the wing. This wing, I still do need to complete the landing light wired, and I'm going to redo the plug on this landing light, and then we're going to prime this wingtip and then get that one permanently mounted as well. The lights, I'm going to be using either a nut plate in there to hold the light on. Right now I have a jam nut on the backside, but I might go ahead and replace that with some either riv nuts or nut plates into the plastic, which should hold that on there nicely. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm eventually going to pull those wingtips off and make aluminum wingtips for it, just to clean all of this up a lot nicer. But I'm pretty happy with how this one came out. Second time's usually a lot easier, so there you go. That worked out really nice. The other wingtip didn't come out too bad, but definitely have some adjustments I got to do, and I'll probably do that once I pull this tip off, get it primed and painted, or primed, get this on there permanently, and then we'll go ahead and prime it and then rivet that in place as well, since everything now is wired in there. And that wingtip that light just needs to be wired up, and then everything goes to this plug here, and same on the other side. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is drilling a small hole on the back side of the that rear spar on both wings, and feed the power, all the wires through there, and then plug in through this side, and then run a loom tube wiring harness down inside, down to the behind the panel, and that'll then wire up to the switches and fuses, and switches and circuit breakers. Same on this side. Once that's done, I'm thinking of maybe testing out the fuel system, running my fuel line. Fuel line's already ran. put fuel in the fuel tanks and make sure nothing is leaking and everything is going through the system properly and coming out to the engine. Then once that's done, we'll turn our attention back inside the airplane and start working on some stuff in here, getting that prepped. And then the wings will soon be coming back off the plane. Same with the horizontal and vertical stabilizer, because we can pull those off and go ahead and get those prepped for paint, along with getting these corner pieces on. So we're getting there, guys. We are moving along. There is not a whole lot left to do. She will not be making it to the September fly-in at Mexico, Missouri, but definitely next year. Maybe if the Viking family will have me, maybe I'll be at Sun and Fun with the Viking crew, but definitely we will be at Oshkosh of next year, 2023. So stay tuned, guys. Hit that like button. Don't forget the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button if you like what you're seeing, you want to see more. And visit my Teespring store and buy a t-shirt. Help support the channel and the trip to Oshkosh 2023. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.